Welcome to French Guiana. A French overseas department located in South America, offers a unique setting for promoting cyclotourism. It is the largest region in France. This department has a population of 300,000 inhabitants. According to our latest census, 97% of the territory is covered by equatorial forest. And there we find the richest biodiversity in France and the European Union. Half of France's biodiversity is in Guyana. Guyana is also the gateway to space for Europe with Ariane launchers and the Guyanese Space Direction. It is above all the cultural richness of these different peoples that makes Guyana the unique point of the EU. The first Saramacca Mongboni nation, European Creole. All of them contribute to the identity of this territory. Both one and multiple. Setup each represents a part of the history of light. Mobile Association Gene based in this territory as part of the Erasmus Plus project. Think Sustainable Act Responsible. The young ambassadors of the association want to show that cyclotourism is possible by the implementation of the project of making the short film on the discovery of a part of the territory. By this way, we will discover the historical, cultural, and natural wealth of this territory. The first step to create a cyclotourism project is to evaluate the existing infrastructure and equipment that could support the project. And estimate the costs involved in implementing the project. In France, cyclotourism has an important place with emblematic routes like the Loire à vélo. Cyclotourism is a form of tourism by bicycle. Bike is used as a means of transport to discover landscapes, sites and places. By meeting the population. Setting up a cyclotourism project requires defining the objectives and the concept of the project. In fact, it will be necessary to determine the type of cyclotourism targeted, then identify the main assets and attractions. Then, identify the main assets and tourist attractions to highlight, define the target audience. To illustrate our subject, we have chosen a tour which begins with a visit to the town of Monter and ends with a visit to the Guiana Space Center in Kourou. The second step, which consists of carrying out a feasibility study. Indeed, the potential of the territory should be analyzed. This same process will therefore be applied to the other sites that will be visited, notably the Annanites Prison, the Criquet Patate, the Nareño Village and ultimately the Guiana Space Center. The specific characteristics will therefore be collected to enrich the narrative to identify the potential of these sites. These elements make it possible to carry out this feasibility study phase, but which can be used as part of the project of cyclotouring. In this phase, it is also important to evaluate the existing infrastructure and equipment that could support the project, and identify and estimate the cost. To continue the process of installing or setting up a cyclotourism project in an area. The third step is to set up a partnership and involve local stakeholders. Any project leader will have to effectively mobilize local stakeholders, town halls, tourist offices, and associations, check with certain tourist providers. So to unite the hosts, the restaurants, the bike rental companies, and to involve the inhabitants and the local users in the design of the project. And identify and create reception, rental and maintenance points to ensure an exclusive and complete service for cyclotourists. It will also be necessary to plan accommodation depending on the type of hike, catering, and additional activity. To illustrate what has just been said, the accommodation center. Monter will therefore be able to accommodate group cyclotourists. In addition to the historical elements to be promoted in the region, it is also appropriate to highlight natural sites. In this case, the Crique Pad 8, which is the third stage of this itinerary. A swimming spot for many people, and which therefore has this particularity. It is an aquatic environment. Result of the balance between the natural environment and the animal and plant species that live there, these aquatic environments are recognized as being of major importance at the global level. The social and cultural dimension can also be appreciated in the meeting with the populations. It is therefore one of the objectives of this cyclotouring circuit. In another example, we propose to go at the Guiana Space Center via the Narino village, which is an Amerindian village. The fourth step is to promote and market the cyclotourism offer by developing a communication strategy, therefore a marketing strategy, but also to develop partnerships with operators and travel agencies. But also use digital tools and websites, mobile applications. Indicators to monitor and evaluate the project. Regularly adjust the offer and services based on user feedback. So we come to the end of our bike ride, which served as support for our tutorial on setting up the cyclotourism project. The Space Center tour is a final step. If you choose to do the same tour, you might be lucky enough to attend a launch. Cyclotourism has established itself as an activity. In 10 years you can find more and more adept in France. Now, let's check if you have correctly remembered the steps for developing a cyclotourism project. Is cyclotourism a form of ecotourism? True or false? True. Ecotourism, also known as sustainable tourism, green tourism, is a form of travel focused on respecting the environment, discovering nature, and protecting it. Cycling fits perfectly into this green tourism model. Setting up a cyclotourism project requires determining the type or cyclotourism targeted, determining the main assets of the area to be promoted, defining the target audience. None of these options. True or false? There is no need to conduct a feasibility study because customers are generally in favor of developing cyclotourism. True or false? That's not true, of course. You have to analyze the natural potential, heritage, service, etc. Evaluate the infrastructure and identify the costs. When setting up a cyclotourism project, is it important or not to involve local stakeholders and engage residents and tourism providers? "22 million French people like biking more than hiking." But also, cyclotourism attracts foreign customers with more than 9 million stays per year, and France is thus positioned as the second world destination for bicycle tourism. There is also a way for young people to take advantage of this opportunity and develop new environmentally friendly activities while highlighting the riches of their region. In this phase, it is also important to evaluate the existing infrastructure and equipment that could support the project.